Okay, welcome to 27 Topics. Today we have a very special guest with us, Larry Kleeman, the Executive Director of the Lincoln Hills Development Corporation. Welcome.
Hi, Paul. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you here, and I appreciate you coming from Perry County to the Central Building here in Jasper, Indiana.
It brought back old memories to me. I used to visit over here with my dad to a doctor that was located in these facilities.
Yes, I guess back that started in the 50s when the building was built. Mm-hmm. There was quite a few doctors in this building, I think,
yes.
At that time.
Yeah.
It was a medical building then, and it's kind of medical today with the pharmacy downstairs.
Downstairs, right.
Yes. So, but anyway, we're here today to talk a little bit about the Lincoln Hills Development Corporation. And as the Executive Director, maybe you can just let us know a little bit about how it got started and what the purpose is.
Okay. Lincoln Hills Development Corporation, our central office or our corporate office is based in Tell City in Perry County. And we serve principally Perry, Spencer, and Crawford counties, our principal service areas, but we also provide services in a number of counties in southwestern Indiana, including Harrison and Du Bois and Vanderburgh and Posey and even Gibson County. We were organized in 1965 as a not-for-profit corporation, and we're technically known as a community action agency. And we provide a multitude of services ranging from Head Start to weatherization to energy assistance to housing properties also that we manage.
And you do this all out of an office in Tell City? Or?
That's our main office. We do have offices located also in Rockport in Spencer County and in English in Crawford County.
And just what are some of the services that you offer?
Okay. I mentioned briefly the Head Start program, which is a preschool program targeted towards children ages 3 to 5, and we offer those services in 4 counties: Perry, Spencer, Crawford, and Harrison. We also provide the weatherization program, which is a program designed to go in and provide energy conservation measures in homes to help reduce the energy bill and to conserve energy. We operate the Energy Assistance Program, which is designed to help households with a partial payment of their utility or heating bill, including not only natural gas and electricity, but also bulk fuel, LP gas, fuel oil, coal, and even wood. We also provide child welfare services in actually I think about 8 counties in southwestern Indiana, where when we receive a referral from the Department of Child Services where there's been an allegation of abuse or neglect, we send workers into the home to work with the families in an effort to improve their parenting skills, and if the child has been removed from the home, we attempt to reunify that child with the family. If the child hasn't been removed from the home, we try to prevent the removal of the child from the home. And we also provide housing services throughout southwestern Indiana. We have a number of apartment projects that we have developed and that we manage, including a property in Huntingburg and also in Holland, Indiana, in Du Bois County. And then the list goes on and on. I mean, we're involved in a multitude of services designed to empower people to improve the quality of life.
And that's basically what the organization does.
Correct.
How is it funded? How is this program? Are all of these programs funded?
A variety of different sources, federal, state, and local sources, as well as in the case of housing projects, we collect rents and tenants pay rents to live in the housing projects. And then we have contracts with different organizations such as the Child Welfare Services. We contract with the Department of Child Services to provide those services. So as I mentioned, some of the funding are federal grants directly to us. In the case of the Head Start program, that's a direct federal grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. There are some federal grants that are block granted to the state of Indiana and then are passed through to us. They're federal funds, but they pass through a state agency. And then there are some local contracts that we have with counties or departments of the local counties that we operate in.
Larry, has the department, these different departments grown through the years?
Somewhat. For instance, the Head Start program was started approximately 40 years ago, and it has been growing somewhat. For instance, about 10 years ago, we were serving 70 or 80 children in our four-county area, and our program has grown to 264 slots now, or children that we're serving. But having said that, the last 6 years, the program has not grown, and in fact, it has been reduced. Last year, we actually had a budget reduction that I believe is the first time in the history of the program where the funds have actually been reduced. And we had to reduce 5 children. We used to serve 269 children. We're now serving 264. And we also had to eliminate some bus routes and reduce some hours for some staff, and have had that reduction.
How do you eliminate? How do you make this reduction? How do you go about that?
It's difficult. We didn't physically take anybody out of the classroom. We had enough warning that we could plan for it, and basically when we started the new school year, we just enrolled 5 fewer children. So it was done through attrition. It wasn't done by physically telling some child that they couldn't attend. But the real disappointing thing for us is that while we're serving 264 kids, we actually have a waiting list of nearly 150 children that are eligible for the program and could be provided those services if we had sufficient money and facilities to provide those services.
What makes a child eligible for Head Start?
Age 3 to 5, and there are income eligibility requirements. They basically have to be below the poverty level, 100% of the poverty level. For a family of 4, as an example, that's about $20,000 a year. So if a family of 4 is making less than $20,000 a year gross income, and they have a child aged 3 to 5, then potentially they would be eligible for the Head Start program. We can take children as young as 3. We really target the program to the year before kindergarten. It's designed as a pre-kindergarten program, so that's the Head Start portion of it.
And of course, after that, they if there is kindergarten in schools,
correct,
they then would just automatically
transition to kindergarten.
Transition to kindergarten.
Right.
And how, I mean, as far as the kids that transition into the like Crawford County, I think has kindergarten.
Yes.
And so they transition there to kindergarten. And I just read an article in a Louisville paper that talked about how this has really benefited the teaching in school, and by adding the kindergarten with these kids, I guess they pretty well progress along at a rapid pace at that point.
Right, exactly. It gives them a lot of social interaction skills. It gives them gets them into the habit of going to school, and a lot of developmental activities, because all the Head Start children we do screenings on, and if a child needs speech therapy or has a hearing problem or has dental problems or any kind of medical problems, we try to get those addressed, make sure that they have all their immunizations. So I mean, it's a complete early developmental, child developmental program that gets them ready for kindergarten, and then they move on through the public school system.
Just how is the program funded?
That's funded directly with federal funds through the Department of Health and Human Services as a part of their national budget. We're required to provide matching funds, which are mostly in-kind funds, that we have volunteers that come into the classroom, or if people donate supplies or donate space for the program. That's how we generate the matching funds that are required to receive the federal funds.
And I noticed too, you know, in the President's budget for 2008, these funds were going to be cut.
He has requested a cut in the Head Start program, I think, of $100 million. I believe that's his request for the new fiscal year that starts on October 1st.
And is that less than in other years, in other budgets, or?
I mean, it builds on a reduction that was, the program was reduced last year, so that would be 2 years in a row that there would be a reduction of funds in the Head Start program.
And so now you will have to, if that is not reinstated in the budget, it could still be reinstated.
Oh yeah, there's a long time to go between now and when they finally reach agreement with the Congress on,
yes,
on the new budget.
When does the 2008 budget take effect?
It takes effect October 1st
of 2007.
Of 2007.
So we do have a few months, but you know the way things go, that time will be here before we know it.
Right.
And I guess, you know, from your side, work is being done to try to reinstate the budget based on the needs of the kids and the waiting lists. And
right. We try to communicate the information to the families that are involved as well as the general public, and let people know, I mean, give them the information as to what has been proposed and what is happening and the need for the services, and try to communicate that information as best as we can.
If you or someone you know has a talent to showcase or an event to promote on 27 Topics, please contact this station.
Talking about the President's budget for 2008 and budget cuts, of course we talked about, you know, kids, and now we have winterization and we have weatherization. How are those programs affected?
The weatherization program, which has been around for probably around 30 years, the president, when he first took office, actually requested a substantial increase in that program. I think to the tune of like a 30% increase, and it didn't increase that much, but there was some increase and has been some increase over the last 4 or 5 years. But in a reversal in policy, for some reason, the president has requested a 40% cut in the weatherization program in his proposed new budget. Now, how that impacts us is that we do approximately 35 homes on an annual basis in Perry, Spencer, and Crawford County combined. And so if there's a 40% cut, we'd probably do 10 fewer homes. To put that more in perspective, though, we have currently, with the money that we have a 2-year waiting list of people for that program. So that means that under the current funding, if somebody applies for weatherization today, it will be 2 years before we can actually work on their home. I want to just give you an example of
Sure.
what the weatherization program does, because it's more than just insulation and weather stripping and conserving energy. There's actually some health and safety issues. We had a 73-year-old lady who had congestive heart problems, and she was bedridden much of the time, and she had other agencies going in and providing home care services and to help her remain in her own home. And we were contacted by one of those other agencies to see if, because they were aware that she had an older furnace, and we were contacted to see if we could provide weatherization assistance. So we went in and did an evaluation of the home, found out that she had not only did she have an old inefficient furnace, but the furnace and the hot water heater were vented together, and there was insufficient drafting, and there was actually carbon monoxide building up in the house and literally endangering this lady's life. So we were able, through the weatherization program, to install a new energy efficient furnace, a new hot water heater, make sure that it was vented properly, and give this elderly lady an opportunity to remain in her home longer under safe conditions. So that's just one example of what the weatherization program does.
And you have a waiting list for
We have a
weatherization.
2-year waiting list, right.
And then you also have the winterization, where there is a fuel assistance.
Right, yeah. It's actually called Energy Assistance Program, and the president has proposed a reduction in that also. I'm not sure exactly how much of a reduction, but we serve approximately 1,500 households, again, in the 3-county area. They get an average benefit of around $300, $330, where it's basically one-time assistance during the winter months to help with natural gas costs, or if they heat with electricity, to help on their electric bill, or in those households that heat with bulk fuel, such as fuel oil or LP gas or coal and even wood. There are still a number of people that heat, their primary heating source is wood. And so we can help out those households with a partial payment. It doesn't pay their full energy bill, but it does help them. It's designed to help them get through the critical winter months.
Yes. Well, without that help, it would be very difficult and really a hardship on those low income.
It would, and especially seniors and disabled folks on fixed incomes.
So we have this. What will happen if the money's not put back into the budget?
I don't know. Obviously, fewer kids will be served under Head Start. Fewer homes will be weatherized. The waiting list will get longer. And on energy assistance, the state has that ultimate decision. They can do one of two things. They can adjust the income eligibility level. For instance, right now, it's households that have incomes less than 150% of the poverty level are eligible. They could, if the state has less money, they could reduce those levels to like 125% of poverty, so there'd be fewer people eligible. Or, I mentioned the average benefit is around $300 or $330. The state could keep the income levels the same but reduce the benefit. So that's the state's decision as to how they handle the reduction. But one way or the other, either fewer households will be served or they will get a smaller benefit.
And at the state level, who determines that?
That is the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority is the agency that where the federal funds pass through that agency.
Pass through for that.
Right.
What other agencies or what other areas do you have that would be affected?
With the proposed budget?
Yes.
Those are those are the main three, with the exception of there's also a grant that we received called the Community Services Block Grant, or CSBG. Those are funds that are federal funds. They originate from the Department of Health and Human Services. They pass through the state agency to us. Those are funds that are our core operating funds that are provided. In our case, we get about $145,000 a year, and that's used for staffing purposes. It's used to help us leverage other funds. The President has proposed zero funding for that particular program for next year, or the CSBG, or Community Services Block Grant. Now, he made a similar request last year, and the Congress rejected that. And I'm hopeful and optimistic that the Congress will reject that proposal again this year.
Okay, our time is just about up, Larry. This half hour goes really fast, so you may just want to recap a little bit about the funding and Lincoln Hills Development Corporation. Okay. And we'll close it at that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk with you today, Paul. And hopefully we've talked a little bit and explained about the services that our agency provides and the critical importance of the funds that are provided by the federal government and the current budget negotiations that are going on. And I believe it's important for everybody to recognize there's more going on in this world than just the things that seem to dominate the headlines, the war in Iraq and Anna Nicole Smith and Britney Spears, and hopefully people can become aware of the actions that the President takes, as well as the Congress, in adopting a federal budget and the local impact that has on the people in our communities. And again, I appreciate the time being here, and hopefully I've answered some questions about what Lincoln Hills Development does.
It was very good. Larry Kleeman, Executive Director of the Lincoln Hills Development Corporation. Thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you, Paul.